Rock and roll. Happy today's Tuesday.
We're rolling?
We're rolling.
We're rolling. What's up, dude?
I like your shirt, first off.
I like your shirt, man. We're like twinning. Mm-hmm. What size you got?
This is XL, so it's a little loose because...
You got big muscles.
No, it would be tight if I had big muscles.
We have to wear an XL because you got big muscles. I'm in a large. Your muscles are bigger than mine.
I could put a large on, probably.
Yeah.
It's
we
like
actually get two different brands of shirts. We're testing.
Oh yeah, yours is the other style. Yeah. But my closet now is prep clothes and off-season clothes because I literally have some of the same shirts in two sizes because one's too loose when I'm leaning out and one's too tight, and then vice versa. When you're in the off-season, the smaller stuff doesn't fit.
Yeah, and it's not like we recommend a massive swing in weight, but I mean, even if it's like 20, 30 pounds, which isn't like astronomical.
But I'm kind of between sizes anyways.
Yeah.
So it's even more pronounced when
I got this when I was shredded in 23. Ozark Iron Gym had like this sale on shirts, and they had like this hot pink 80s retro shirt, and I got it, and it fit, and it was a medium, and it shrunk obviously since I washed it, and now I'm not a medium anymore.
Now it's a medium.
So now it's like an extra small on me, and I just look a little funky in it, so I don't wear that one.
Chop the sleeves off.
I gave that one to Crystal. I can't even fit in the chest part.
Like really?
It's way too tight. I have to give that one to Rigel.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about, man. We've got some questions. We're going to do AMA style with this podcast. We got some questions printed out that kind of run the gamut on all kinds of topics. So before we dive into that, let's talk about some new and exciting things in the works for the work.
Oh.
See what I did there?
Okay. Yeah.
Let's talk with Keto Brick first.
Yep.
So you are in prep right now. You are getting your macros dialed in. You don't let anything to chance, and you're very specific on what you allow in your macros on a given day because every macro matters. Mm-hmm. And you worked something into your macros for today.
I did.
What'd you work into your macros for today?
Keto Brick.
Keto Brick.
Well, I've actually had Keto Brick as part of my day going from at this point, but I got a special flavor in there today.
Special flavor today. Do tell.
A seasonal relaunch that you guys have probably seen before. This time of the year, we like to bring back, should we tell them?
We can tell them.
Buttered maple pecan.
Buttered maple.
And I got to tell you, the facility, the building here smells
heavenly.
It's crazy. You walk in the door and you just smell like you're just encompassed with buttered maple pecan.
Yeah.
So there's pecan butter in there. There's pecan chunks in there. The protein is
maple pecan
protein. The flavor that we're rocking this week, that'll be in my mouth in a little while after this recording probably, is the cacao butter version.
Organic cacao, buttered maple pecan.
Yep.
And I kind of cheated the system because we mix and pour one day, and then the next day we bang them out and package them. And I couldn't wait. And I'm doing the alternate day fasting, so today's a fasting day for me. So I had the guys mix and pour me one buttered maple pecan brick yesterday, and I stuck it in the fridge a little bit in the break room to solidify them. And then I had that yesterday, like as fresh as it gets. And
jealous.
Oh my gosh, man. Like people always ask me what my favorite flavor is, and I feel like I can't really have because they're all kind of unique in their own way. But man, biting into that bad boy, it's like this may be my favorite flavor.
It's so good. The flavor is on point, and
it's like perfect for the season. Like it's been a little brisker here in Arkansas, waking up, and it's like a little bite in
50s,
the air.
60s, yeah.
Yeah, so like my morning runs have been a little chillier, and like I'm excited about getting the fire going, putting a hoodie on, and like trying to stay warm. And that buttered maple pecan brick is like the holiday season.
It is fall.
Autumn, fall. Like
it's
all that
fall.
wrapped up into a perfect little bundle.
It's so good.
Yeah, I'm
excited. I put a half a brick in there for today. So in addition to my other food, I'm going to beef and
crash that bad boy. So those are dropping this Sunday, which is the 14th. Is that right?
That'd be the 14th. Yes.
14th at noon Central. Buttered maple pecan baby.
Yes.
It's not baby, but that's what we're calling it.
Okay.
It's tasty.
But we're also going to make a tallow version.
We are. That one's not yet ready.
Yeah.
We're not producing that yet. But buttered maple pecan is dropping this Sunday. So you just have to keep an eye on your inbox. Eyes on the inbox.
Yes.
And social posts. And then we got so much competition stuff to talk about. I mean, it's crazy. Like, we're both rocking the shirts. These are going to be the shirts for the competition. But you and I have been deep in the weeds, getting everything organized, trophies, medals. We had the meeting with the venue. Did we talk about that on the last work podcast?
I don't think we did.
No, because we would have recorded it on Monday and we had the meeting afterwards.
Yep.
So yeah, we had a meeting with the venue event staff, and it was a several-hour meeting with their whole boardroom, and this is gonna be awesome. Man.
It is.
Like, the show is gonna be the best show out there, and I don't want to like get ahead of myself. This is the first time I'm promoting, first time hosting a show. A lot of things could go wrong, but I don't really leave much to chance, and I typically overdo everything, and this is no different. And we're going to rock this first competition.
I think one of the biggest reasons that we're super stoked and excited about it is because we've been in several other competitions. Like, we've been at competitions and seen backstages. We've seen venues. We've seen how the people are treated. We've seen swag bags. We've seen all of it. And everything that we have experienced in our endeavors, everything's getting leveled up.
Yeah, everything's getting leveled up. Like, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but there's so many things that we're doing different that other competitions just haven't done or don't do to the level that we are. So, like, from a very high level view, our swag bags are second to none. Like, they're going to be the best swag bags.
There's hundreds of dollars worth of stuff in there.
And not only are the competitors getting them, but the judges are all getting, like, the swag bags are legit. We're going to be printing these shirts on site. All the competitors will get them by default, but then anybody that's attending and wants one can get one. The vendor booths are awesome. Like, the actual vendors that we have coming, sampling product, selling product, those are all like top tier vendors. So I'm excited about that. We've got like the DEXA Fit deal for anybody that's wanting to jump on that in the open house the days prior to the competition. The way we're formatting it with a running format, but the way we're doing it is going to be different. And we just kind of nailed that down this morning. It's going to be so much more efficient for the competitors. It's going to be better for them peaking wise. And then we're giving them incentive to stay. We're going to get the kids involved. We're going to get the vendors up on stage for a bit talking about their brand. We're going to have an intermission that allows them to, view all these vendors. And then we're going to have my dad smoking barbecue butts all night long, pork butts. So everybody's going to be able to eat them. And then Stan's going to be cooking chicken that's regeneratively raised for all the competitors and people there as well. And then we're going to have judges' feedback that is literally happening upstairs in a conference room where they can get all the feedback at once as opposed to like being parsed out. So that's going to be unique. And then, I mean, the whole venue itself, like, it's just top tier, man. Like, it's a performing arts center. It's nice. We've got so many different rooms allocated for different sections. Like, the main stage obviously is going to be super slick, but like the actual competitor hangout area is the best one I've ever been in.
And we're going to broadcast, live stream the competition up to a TV up there.
Yeah, so like the competitors will be backstage. They're going to be able to see everything in their little chill out area. They're going to have dedicated dressing rooms, male and female. They're going to have a pump up section behind the curtain. The MC is going to be awesome. The experts are going to be awesome. The volunteers that are helping are all awesome. I mean, so many of the competitors know each other already, so it's going to be like this big family vibe that's going to be awesome as well. It's just going to be slick. And then we've got the host gym right there where the tanning is going to be taking place, and all the competitors are going to have free access to that. I mean, we're just leveling up, man.
Yep.
Like, I'm excited for other competitors to experience this show that have never done our show, but have done other shows, get their feedback. And then the prizes, like, our prizes are next level. Like, we've got the trophies, the swords, all that jazz. But
medals. Everyone gets a medal.
Everyone gets a medal. We spent a lot of money on like medals that are bigger, better than other medals. And then we've got a little surprise that we're not even going to tell you, but it's going to be slick. It's going to be slick. Yep. So I'm stoked. I'm like really looking forward to it. And I'm grateful for you for helping me with all this stuff. But like, we've been working on this. When did we start working on this?
It was a while back. I think probably when we first decided that we wanted to do something even in the fall.
Yeah.
Like, we hadn't even had a date dialed in, and we were hashing out ideas.
Yeah. I mean, did we book the venue last year? Or was that this year?
I think that was last year.
Yeah. So we've been working on it for well over, I guess, 8 months now, probably.
Yeah, probably.
And we've just been dialing things in every single month, chipping away at it. So it's been just super organized, from early on. And there's just not many missing pieces. Like some fluke things bound to happen and something's, going to be off kilter. But I don't think anybody would know. Like, I feel like we're going to have everything so dialed that from a competitor standpoint, from a judge's standpoint, from an attendee standpoint, like it's going to seem flawless, organized, and structured.
Yep.
And flow like it should.
Yep.
So
it's going to be awesome.
I'm excited.
Yep. It's going to come together. So naturalstatesavages.com to register.
Yep.
And that's where you can buy your spectator ticket.
Yeah, and we're probably going to put a deadline on competitor registrations. We're thinking the Sunday prior to peak week. So that would be what is Sunday? Is that?
That'd
21st, I think.
Yeah, yep.
So 21st will be the deadline for registration so that we can go into peak week having all the competitors organized, their bios, all that stuff. But yeah, it's going to be good. If you're not even...
It's coming together. It's going to be awesome.
If y'all are not competing, have no interest in bodybuilding, you should still attend it. Because just the vibe and culture and what's going to be going on is just going to be worth the price of admission for sure anyways.
And barbecue.
And barbecue. Yeah. So I'm stoked.
Yep.
I'm stoked. All right. You want to tackle some of these questions?
Yeah. Okay. So we got a myriad of questions from different fans, followers, people that submitted these. Coming from the top, what carbs are good for cardio, like running or HIIT? What do you think of sucralose? Sadly, it's in mini protein powders.
All right, let me answer this in reverse. So sucralose is in a lot of protein powders for sure. It is a artificial sweetener. It's like what Splenda uses, for those of you that use Splenda. I don't have any issues with it. A lot of people knock sucralose. Somebody's calling me. Decline that. Because of the studies that have been done showing it disrupts gut microbiome. But people have to keep in mind, like, those studies are typically animal model studies, and they're putting way more.
It's a massive amount.
It's a massive amount. Like, no human would consume the equivalent of that relative to human consumption in a day. So, like, the gut microbiome knock isn't really a good argument unless you have like pre-existing gut microbiome, gut dysbiosis or something like that. However, I try to gravitate away from sucralose because too much of it definitely does make me to hold a little bit more fluid than I would like. It pretty much is like a incomplete sugar molecule that gets undigested through your system. So like, you're not really absorbing any caloric load from it, but because it has to still go through your digestive system, it oftentimes holds on to water, and you can get some intestinal fluid retention. So I typically don't like it for that reason, which is why I typically gravitate to stevia or monk fruit. As far as the question pertaining to carbs for running, I mean, I've been doing a little bit of running. I'm not a runner by any means. For any shorter distance, you certainly don't need carbohydrates. If you're doing like a massively long, you don't need them for a marathon even, but if you're doing like an ultra marathon, people that are in the low carb space that do ultra marathons, they'll oftentimes have a little bit of sugar or carbohydrate rather in the form of, a simple acting sugar or something like that. They'll do, honeys and things of that nature to replenish muscle glycogen as they're running. But I don't know. I'm halfway tempted.
You can be fat adapted and still run. We've worked with ultra runners and ultra marathoners that.
Yeah, I'm halfway tempted to get into the ultra space just to do it without and prove people wrong, because you certainly don't have to have it. I mean, especially depending on what your aerobic threshold is, what your VO2 max is. These are all things I'm kind of diving deeper into since we got our VO2 max test. But like, if you're deeply fat adapted and you're not operating at full capacity, I mean, you and I were in like zone 3, and we were still predominantly using fat metabolism over glucose metabolism. Obviously, in the highest zone, you're still using glucose metabolism, but you're not running an ultra marathon at a sprint. So if you're at a jog pace, heart rate between 120 to 140, then I would argue that you don't need to have the carbohydrates. So that'd be kind of my response to that.
Okay. All right. Next on the agenda, this one says, I'm a relatively slim and healthy 6'1". I recently did a low carb, high fat protein diet with much running and lifting. After 2 years or so, I lost quite a bit of fat. Question, how do I bulk up without putting fat back on? Just eat more protein and fat and lift with more purpose or focus?
Pretty much, yeah. Eat more protein and fat, lift with more intensity and progressive overload principles, and that's it distilled down to a nutshell. And you will put on some body fat. Like, that's inevitable. Like, if you're eating at a caloric surplus, which would be optimal if you're trying to add as much lean tissue to your frame as possible, that will come with a little bit of body fat gain. The caveat is there's a difference between a healthy amount of body fat gain and an obsessive amount of body fat gain. And there is a point of diminishing returns of that body fat gain. So like a little bit of added body fat is not a bad thing because, you know, it gives you more energy to tap into as a reserve for those runs. It's just going to be better hormonally speaking if you've got a healthy amount of body fat. Like, you don't want to be operating at sub 5% body fat from a performance standpoint. But you don't need to go crazy. Like, I'm in a building phase now. You're about to be in a building phase. And really and truly, like for a male, you know, 15% body fat is kind of like the upper window. I would say between 12 and 15 is a pretty good sweet spot. There's not really any need to go beyond that because then, especially from a running standpoint, you're just having to carry more weight around. Right. It's harder on your joints. It's not going to contribute to better performance with your lifts. So I would just try and stay within that window. But if you're leaner than that, learn to embrace going up and being in that window because there's nothing wrong with being in that 12 to 15 range if the primary objective is to add more lean tissue.
Got it. All right, next up, are cheat days okay sometimes, or how about cheat meals?
When was the last time you had a cheat day, Greg?
A cheat day?
Or cheat meal?
Man, I don't even know.
I guess we should define cheat meal or cheat day.
Used to have like cheat days, cheat meals back 10 years ago when I was doing prep. That was part of the protocol, as every Friday night or whatever night it would be, I could just go have whatever I wanted as long as it was condensed into one feeding time. It didn't drag out. So typically it was like a dinner so that it wouldn't spiral down the rest of the day.
Carbohydrate included, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah. This is before I was even keto. This is like 2012, 13. So that would be last time I can remember just like going off the rails.
Yeah.
And literally going to the grocery store and being like, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that. And I would eat until I was sick. And that was like probably the last time I had like a legit cheat meal. And it was just trash. It was garbage. Ice cream and candy and, you know, chips and pizza and nothing with nutritional value.
Yeah.
But since then, I don't even know. To me now, I wouldn't even call it a cheat meal. I call it like a free meal. But to me now, a free meal or a free food choice is something that wouldn't be prep worthy, but is still keto, low carb, you know, chicken wings or pizza toppings or something that's not 100% trackable. And then, you know, that's not even a cheat meal really.
Yeah. I would say to their question, you know, once you've made the decision that you're following a ketogenic diet and lifestyle, you feel better, you perform better, you recognize this, you know, you feel poorly when you deviate from it. Like, it's just, there needs to be a mental shift where it's like, okay, I don't allow those things in my life anymore. There's a non-negotiable.
You just level up.
You just level up. And for that reason, if the question cheat day, cheat meal is referring to an all-out binge fest on carbohydrates and junk, then I would say the answer would be never. Like, I would not advocate for that ever. However, you know, I'm not in prep right now. You are in prep right now. Whether we have a specific goal, we kind of change nutrition accordingly. And if I'm at a prep, I'm eating everything to the T. I'm tracking every macro, every gram. There's a specific reason I'm eating every single thing I'm consuming. If I'm in a building phase, I'm still tracking right now. This is like the first building phase where I'm tracking everything, which I've actually enjoyed. But generally, I've gone and eaten ad libitum intuitively in a building phase. All keto, obviously.
Right. You never like go off the rails.
Yeah, never deviate from that.
Change your choices.
But I'll have foods that, you know, I'm not tracking, and I'll eat ad libitum intuitively. And, you know, that would be kind of like a cheat day by my standards now. Or I guess my idea of a cheat day or cheat meal now would be like, you know, during the holidays, Crystal will make like keto cookies or a keto cheesecake or something like that. And I'll have that, for that 1 or 2 days, a freaking quarter or 2 quarter, like half a year. So probably less than 5 throughout the course of a year. But I know it's all quality ingredients. I know who's making it. I know what's in it. And I know my body responds well to it. And I can have that. It satisfies whatever sweet tooth or, abnormal craving I'm having, but it's not deviating me from the dietary lifestyle that I'm living. So,
and then after that, you're right back into it.
Yeah. So that would be my idea of a cheat day now.
Yeah. So I guess somebody's definition of a cheat day or a cheat meal is going to be kind of personal,
individual based.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as deviating from keto entirely and eating a bunch of carbs and hitting up the, Dairy Queen or Taco Bell and eating just crap, then I would say never.
I remember that one time, however many years back, when I first came out and visited you guys, and we went to the Mexican restaurant, and I was like, man, we could really go for some nachos, And we brought in those bags of pork rinds, and they made the nachos on the pork rinds instead of the tortilla chips. Yeah. That was like, to me, that was like a cheat day, a cheat meal.
Hard. I mean, obviously very hard to track that.
100% on track as far as choices go and food selection, but it was just not, tracked 100%.
I don't know if I told you this, but I had a podcast a few weeks back. I don't know if it's gone live yet, but he's a keto guy, and he wanted to see how his body would respond. He was tracking everything. Like, he had like different wearable devices. He was tracking blood sugar, CGM. He had the Oura Ring, the Whoop strap, the full 9 yards, blood work. And for 30 days, he kept calories consistent leading into that 30 days. So he was eating like 3,200 calories going into it and exiting it. And then for 30 days, he ate only hyper-palatable processed junk food.
Oh, boy.
Maintained calories the same. So his weight stayed pretty much consistent.
If it fits your macros style.
Yeah, but like he would even have like themed days, like a donut day, a candy day. And he would be testing all these metrics. So calories consistent, but all hyper-palatable processed, standard American diet junk foods. And he's like, man, I will never do that again. I felt horrendous. My blood sugar volatility was through the roof. Digestion was crazy. So it's like, yeah, I've got no desire to do that.
You ever see that dude, Fit to Fat to Fit?
Yeah.
Drew Manning,
yeah.
I think is his name. Yeah, he did that a couple different times where he just ate with the sole purpose of just being as unhealthy as possible. And then he shed all the weight and dialed back in. So
I have no desire to do that.
Yeah, crazy. All right. What are some inexpensive foods that you really like for a low carb, high fat, protein diet? I find many of them to be expensive. Eggs. Eggs are expensive if you get them at the store, but if you can find somebody local, that's a pretty awesome
local's the way to
option.
go. I mean, just knowing your local farmers and ranchers is a huge step in the right direction. I mean, we bought a whole cow, and I think the price per pound was like $4 something. So like literally half of what you would spend in a grocery store for a higher quality meat, in which I'm supporting my local farmer and rancher. So like knowing your local people is a huge win.
Farmers markets can be a good option.
I'm going to sound biased, but like the bricks are expensive for sure, but on a cost per calorie basis, they're actually incredibly cheap. So like from that standpoint, if you're doing if you're taking your total caloric intake into consideration, which we should, that is actually very cost effective. Yeah. As far as like mainstream foods that are pretty cheap that you can get away with, I mean, like when I was broke, I was getting all of my food from like Costco. So it was just, commodity feedlot beef, bulk cheese, bulk eggs.
Yep.
I mean, everything was from Costco or Sam's Club.
Yep. So they asked inexpensive foods for low carb, high fat, protein diet. I mean, you can still, like, you don't have to go full blown grass fed, grass finished beef
for sure.
with everything. If you can afford, 85.15 just
from
Walmart, great value, get the huge long tubes. That's still going to be way better option than any of the other junk food options out there.
So, I mean, keto is not a limiting factor based off a price point.
Exactly.
Like you can get as high end as you want to get with it, So
whatever you can afford.
Yeah.
Yep. Meat, 100%. Cheese, eggs, dairy, animal fat. You can get.
I mean, shoot, I was eating like freaking potted meat, which is like in the human section, but it's pretty much cat food.
Yeah.
And I was eating that when I was broke, you know. So,
but that's still keto.
Yeah.
I mean, really. All right. I drink mini protein shakes. I try to buy good protein powder, but that doesn't always happen. What's your take on protein shakes?
I can't tell you the last time I had a protein shake. I mean, we put protein powder, quality protein powder, in the bricks, obviously, so I'll have one of those every day. But that's bound to a high stearic acid containing fat source, which slows the absorption of the protein, and my body tolerates that incredibly well. But like just a plain protein shake mixed with water, typically they're like a protein isolate or whey protein concentrate. Like, I have no desire to drink those. I kind of probably burnt myself out on the super crappy Body Fortress. Is that the Walmart brand?
Yeah. Yep.
I remember, man, when I first started lifting in high school, 115 pounds.
And everyone was like, protein shake.
Protein shake. Protein shake. And I could only afford the Body Fortress strawberry flavor from Walmart.
Yeah.
And
I can literally visualize the canister. It's got that weird symbol on it.
And I would have that in my plastic shaker bottle.
Probably smelled like trash.
And I would have one of those on the bus drive home from school every single day. And man, I remember if I'd ever lose my bottle and then find it a couple days later, open that thing up to clean it, like, oof.
You might as well just duct tape it and throw it in the trash.
You might as well just die right there, man.
I think protein shakes are honestly pretty overrated because you can get everything you need from
meat. I have not found the need to consume a protein shake to hit my protein goals in over a decade. So you don't need it. It's not really a cost-effective way to get quality protein in if you're eating the quality. I mean, like those really nice quality protein shakes that are using good natural ingredients, quality proteins, and don't have a bunch of junk sweeteners in there. Like they're like $75, $80 a canister for like 30 servings.
Yeah.
Like I would rather put that towards a carton of eggs or something. So I'd only recommend it in that regard. Also, like there's a thing behind protein farts. Like people say protein farts.
If you overdo the protein, I remember days when I was eating 200-300 grams of protein a day and I was just, my GI was just screaming.
And it's amplified if you're getting that protein predominantly from a super quick absorbing, easily digested protein isolate, because it goes through your system so quickly. Like you're going to have more of a blood sugar response first off, because there's no fat to slow that absorption rate down. And then your body, since it's moving through your system so quickly, like it's doing something to your GI, and you get gassy from them.
Yeah.
I mean, so much so that, listen to this. So Crystal, she does a lot of shakes at night. Like she loves the shakes. So she'll put ice, protein powder, and then like some heavy cream or something in there. So she's got fat in it. It's not just mixed with water. Yep. And then she'll blend that up. She'll put like a nut butter in there sometimes. She'll blend that up. She'll drink that as like her nightcap for the day. It messes up like the gut microbiome and absorption so much so that Hazen, who is breastfeeding, is incredibly gassy. And Crystal's like, what can I do to remove his gassiness? I'm like, how about you stop the protein shakes for a little bit? So she did that for a week, and he is significantly less gassy.
Really?
So he's not even drinking the protein shakes directly, obviously. He's just getting the breast milk that her body's processing from the protein shakes. That's not like her main meal, but it's just one meal.
Wow.
And he's getting gassy. So, yeah, for people to consume just a ton of protein shakes, I would spend money elsewhere.
Man, that's like secondhand farts.
Yeah, secondhand
farts. Crazy. Man. All right. How about a reverse dieting question? Maybe just a step-by-step overview, a practical week-by-week plan on how to implement a reverse diet, and how do you track progress, and what would you expect?
Yeah, so reverse dieting, I mean, I've put out a bunch of content on reverse dieting. It's basically, as it says, the reverse of dieting. So dieting typically being defined as dropping calories, getting leaner, losing body fat, dropping weight, and that's all fine and dandy, but what goes down must come up, or what goes up must come down, so to speak. So like when we're dieting down for show, we're losing body fat, we're getting leaner, but our calories are much lower. Like right now, your calories are sub 2,000, and you're, 5'9".
You got it.
193 pounds right now,
Roughly.
but typically walking around 215, 220, a lot of muscle on your frame, been spending a lot of calories throughout the day. Like 2,000 calories is definitely below what is optimal for you to perform at an elite level at. So you got to reverse diet out of that deficit, bring more food and fuel into your system so that your hormones regulate, your metabolism upregulates, and you're able to perform optimally. And that's going to come with a little bit of body fat gain, but it allows you to perform and build more muscle. So basically, you just got to eat more food. Now, there's a lot of conjecture and controversy as to the best way to do that. What I typically recommend is, when you're using my protocol, protein will be pretty low there at the very end. So we'll give an initial bump in protein once you transition into the reverse diet. So initial bump in protein and then a slight bump in dietary fat as well. And then we basically increase that intake every week. And if we factored refeeds in, ketocaloric refeeds going into that deficit, then we'll leave those in for the first several weeks going into the reverse diet. And then once the daily intake meets or exceeds what the refeed intake is, then we'll phase those refeeds out, and we'll just keep bringing the fat and protein and overall calories up in the reverse diet until the individual starts to experience, point of diminishing returns. So starting to put on more body fat relative to increases in strength and recovery and performance, and then we'll kind of like know that we need to level off there. So that's what I would recommend. I've got a very detailed breakdown of all this in my course on ketobodybuilding.com. But yeah, reverse dieting is super important, regardless of whether you're a competitor or not. Like a lot of people just chronically undereat. A lot of 73-year-old grandmothers don't eat enough food. Their metabolism is downregulated, their hormones are downregulated, like everything's shot. Their ability to build and preserve the muscle tissue they've got is hindered. They would benefit from a reverse diet.
Yeah, it's not just competitors. Yeah. It's people who chronically undereat. And 100%. They just can't figure out why they're not losing any weight. And they're doing, I had a client one time come forward and she was eating 1,000 calories a day, but she was doing 1,000 calories worth of elliptical every day also. And she was just stuck. And we reversed and started to diminish the cardio. And wow, there you go. You just broke through.
Yeah. So it's super important.
You got to do it slow. Like it's like 5 to 10 grams into your macros usually, isn't it?
I'll go a little bit more aggressive. I mean, it kind of depends on the individual, but when I'm dieting people down, I'm typically adjusting in 5 or 10 gram increments. When I'm reverse dieting them up, then I'll oftentimes double that. So it might be, 10 to 20 gram increments, depending too on how quickly they want to start, leveling off, because that's going to look a little bit different for everybody. But I'll be a little bit more aggressive with them on the reverse. So if the cut takes 6 months, the reverse may only take 2.5 or 3, for instance. And then people get hung up on seeing the scale weight increase.
Oh yeah, big time.
But that's why you have to look for metrics outside of the scale weight as a litmus test and proxy for progress. So is your recovery better? Is your sleep better? Are you pushing more weight in the gym? Are your strength metrics improving? Are you able to implement progressive overload? Is your libido coming back?
Did your cycle come back?
Yeah, did your cycle come back? Is your blood work improving? Like all of these things are obviously beneficial. So taking stock in that is key. And then just kind of cycling between these building and cutting phases appropriately so that you always are making progress.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
Dieting too frequently. All right, we got a couple on the back here as well. How to overcome common issues like fear of weight gain. This is kind of right along that same topic. Fear of weight gain, plateaus, and what to do when you feel quote unquote stuck.
Yeah, kind of similar to what we just got done discussing. But so plateaus, when it comes to dieting down, if you're like trying to lose weight and you hit a plateau and your weight stalls out, people, this is highly individualized. So I'll just kind of speak in broad brush strokes. That's a tough one to say.
Broad brush strokes.
Broad brush strokes. So like if you're dieting down, if you're dieting too aggressively, that's obviously, I mean, people will oftentimes cut calories by like 500 or 1,000 right out the gate.
Yeah.
And you'll lose some initial weight, but then their body will stabilize at that intake and their level of output. Then they'll plateau.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, what are you going to do? Drop another 500 calories or another 1,000 calories? Before you know it, you've got no caloric runway. So starting as high as you can and then chipping away gradually and building momentum so your body can kind of bust through any potential plateaus, that's first and foremost key. And then when you do hit a plateau, if you are doing it correctly, then you just tweak one thing to elicit a response. So maybe it's slightly increasing cardio. I'm trying to treat cardio as like a minimum viable dose approach. Maybe it's dropping macros ever so slight to provide some more pressure. Maybe it's changing your training style. Maybe it's just sleeping a little bit more. You know, like a lot of people, they're holding a lot of fluid retention because they're acutely stressed and inflamed, and it's because they're getting 5 hours of sleep a night. I'm guilty of that. I'll oftentimes drop 3 pounds when I get a full night's sleep. So things like that add up for sure. And then the reverse of that, kind of like we were talking before, is, you know, when you're embracing the weight gain, you got to make sure you're looking for other things than just what the scale's reflecting back at you as a proxy for progress. So like, is everything else getting better? Like if you're in a reverse diet and you see the scale weight increase a little bit and you're coming from a cut where you're excited about seeing it drop, how do you get excited about it going up? Well, you get excited about being able to push more weight in the gym.
Stronger, yep.
Yeah, being strong. You get excited about having more energy to go throughout the day more vibrantly. You get excited about, you know, having libido and getting freaky with your spouse or whatever. So all of those things, you know, are you can't take those for granted.
Those are non-scale victories right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Big time.
And I feel like a lot of people just totally miss the boat on how to cycle between these different phases the right way. Because if you do it right, when you cut down, you can't stay there. So you have to reverse that up a little bit. But then if you're doing it right, where your body levels off after the reverse diet's over is in a better position than when you started from. And then when you transition into your next cut, you get a little bit leaner than you did at the first cut. And then when you cycle up from that, you're better left off than you did at the beginning. So like you just keep getting better, and you can't do that if you're haphazardly going from crazy, you know, clicky
crash
diet trends to the next, you
know. Addressing this psychological fear and anxiety around increasing calories. We just actually kind of talked about that. Let's see what else we got on here. Oh, people maybe who have been eating a very low calorie diet for a long time and are metabolically adapted, i.e. 1,200 calories. It's kind of on the same topic there.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that fit this criteria. Competitors are kind of an example of that in a very small microcosm, you know, bubble that you can kind of use as an example. But like the general population is incredibly in line with this scenario. I look at my grandmother, who is 87, I think, and just getting frail, man, like super frail. Starting to exhibit signs of Alzheimer's dementia. I think she's like 113 pounds right now, and she used to be taller than me, and now she's just, you know, like she's shrinking. And you can't, I mean, when you're that age, the goal in my mind should be to build and preserve as much muscle as you can.
Absolutely.
And ideally, doing that your whole life leading up to that age, you've got more of a reservoir to tap into. But building and preserving as much muscle as you can. Setting yourself up for psychological, you know, wins, so that from a neurological, mental standpoint, you don't see your mind's ability to decay. Like you want to hedge against that, because losing your mind is a terrible thing. So eating foods that your body responds well to is key first and foremost. And then just like having energy to function and go throughout the day. Like I hate seeing elderly people that just sit on their easy chair and watch TV because they have no zeal or vibrancy or excitement for life.
They've like checked out.
Yeah. And if you're eating super convenient, hyper palatable, you know, non-nutritious foods, what reason does your body have to get up and do anything productive or exciting? It's just not there. So, you know, she obviously doesn't eat enough, and what she does eat isn't the right things. You know, my parents have been great. They've been going over there like every weekend, providing food for them, cooking real food, some proteins and stuff, which is great. But like that's 1 day a week, 2 days a week. So regardless of what chapter you're in life, whether you're 97 years old or 17 years old, you got to make sure you're fueling your body properly. And there's times to be in a fat loss phase where you're operating at a deficit and focusing on getting leaner. There's very important, you know, benefits to that. But more often than not, you should be eating at a slight surplus, because it takes longer to build muscle than it takes to lose body fat. So for that reason alone, people should spend more time building muscle than losing body fat. And the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolic rate's going to be. So the more food you can get away with eating and nourishing yourself with, and it not resulting in excess fat gain. So yeah, people like eating 1,200 calories or less a day, day in, day out is a guaranteed fail.
Guaranteed failure.
No matter who you are, basically.
Yep. Agreed. All right. There's one more on here regarding perimenopause/menopause. How about any specific strategies for women in this stage of life to manage weight and hormonal changes by adjusting their diet, specifically eating more? So it's kind of along that same thing. You just got to eat enough, got to eat more.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, to just kind of, carry off of piggyback what we just said, like women going through perimenopause, menopausal years, like their testosterone's declining, their hormones are all in a state of flux. Like their body is more prone to losing lean tissue, losing bone density. So
lift.
Yeah. Like if I was a woman in that chapter, I would make that span the span that I would prioritize building muscle, progressive overload training, lifting with intensity. And that's going to be hard. Like it's easier said than done because your hormones are in a flux then. So like it's harder to have energy to train. It's harder to have the recovery dialed in. Like it's harder. But like that is not when you want to focus on dropping calories and losing body fat. Mm-hmm. That is when you want to focus on building and preserving as much muscle as you can, which is also going to have a favorable effect on bone density. So yeah, if I was in that chapter, or for any women that are in that chapter listening to this, that would be when I would recommend really doubling down, despite the odds, on building and preserving as much muscle as you can.
So eat more of the right foods and resistance train.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard psychologically then too because their body is going to be more prone to adding body fat during that phase.
So then that plays on like the whole mentality of seeing the scale go up and seeing your body change.
So they're going to be like, initially, women in that chapter are going to be like, all right, now's where I need to do a cut. Now I need to like really, I'm sick of this extra 15 pounds I'm carrying, going through menopause. I should do a cut. That is when you need to be focusing on building the muscle, not necessarily transitioning into a hardcore deficit.
All right. So, words of wisdom right there.
Yeah, buddy. Always a pleasure, Greg.
Yes.
Enjoy these AMA style chit chats. The work podcast in general is a lot of fun. So we got a lot to do today, and you got to eat your buttermilk.
I hear them brick in the kitchen busting the bricks out of the molds.
I know, they're
so
calling
my
your
mouth
name,
is watering.
Sweet little nothings. Eat me, Greg.
So Butter Maple Pecan goes live on Sunday.
There you go. Till next time, y'all. Ta-ta for now.
See ya.